Hello, 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 and welcome to the BTMS Show, our weekly Tuesday night show where we talk to the people of nightlife Philadelphia, or the people of Philadelphia's nightlife scene. So tonight is a special night because it's my friend Jeremy's birthday, and so I have some guests that Jeremy and I have both worked with on different projects throughout the years. So this is going to be a fun night because we all know each other pretty well. One thing for you all to know is that this show raises proceeds for the Philadelphia Performance Artists Relief Fund, the emergency fund, which was started by one of our guests and myself tonight. So if you are willing and able, please donate. All of the tips will be split between our guests who are currently out of work because they are performers. And some of our guests have also opted to donate to the emergency fund. So we'll split between our guests and the emergency fund. It's all going to a good cause. If you're able to, please donate. So without further ado, let me bring on our first guest. Jeremy Adam is a musician, singer, songwriter, actor extraordinaire in Philadelphia, who I've actually worked with quite a bit. He's a close friend of mine. Welcome to the show, Jeremy Adam. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
How are you enjoying? Your birthday was yesterday, correct?
Yeah, I'm still celebrating.
Yes.
We're trying to, at least, you know.
You had a long weekend and now Tuesday night party.
And now it's a Tuesday night party. But what is time anymore now that we're here in the quarantine, right?
Correct. What is time? What is anything anymore? Is anything real? Those questions and more.
I hope this wine is real.
Right? Got my beer right here with my pal Sigmund on the front. So we actually have two more guests tonight to help celebrate your birthday, both of whom you've worked with in the Humminbards, which is a theater troupe in Philadelphia that does original pieces, as well as I think a few lesser known pieces that are fantastic as well. Mm-hmm. So our next guest is part of the Humminbards, but also does a podcast called My Gay Agenda with their best friend, Jay. And so welcome to the stage, CJ Higgins.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here representing Nightlife Philly to celebrate my work associate, Jeremy Adam.
I am so honored to have my work associate here as well, CJ Higgins.
Yes, I have.
I didn't write to be fellow employees of the same employer
of the same LLC.
Yes.
I didn't write down the introductions this week.
Union together and everything.
Fellow non-union associate Jeremy.
I was like, I know these three super well. I don't need to write down their intros this week. I'll totally wing it. It'll be fine.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
I'm talking a lot of shit. If anybody roasted my introductions as much as I did to you just now, I would be out of work forever, more than I am currently.
I often know nothing about the people that I introduce, and so I just make things up. And
that's fun.
It tends to work for me, usually.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Now, I think we've made a grave mistake, though, because we've left a diva backstage watching and listening, but unable to speak. So why don't we bring out our next guest, who, again, is part of the Humminbards Theater Troupe and is also a drag queen in Philadelphia. Welcome, Patti LuStoned. Hey, Patti.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's great. I'm really excited to be here for the Jeremy Adam birthday party episode.
Yes. It is the Jeremy Adam birthday episode. And in 2 weeks, it'll be my birthday episode.
I know.
Gemini season.
Geminis.
I don't really believe in astrology, but I also know that's a really Gemini thing to say. So
That's my issue because I'm a Taurus, but I also don't really follow astrology. So it's like, oh no, are they just too stubborn to believe in astrology?
Maybe. Find out more later.
My issue is that I definitely believe that I'm a Gemini, but I don't know anything about the rest of the zodiac.
Same.
Apparently, Geminis are iconic.
That's what I've heard.
I can't tell. I feel like people hate us too. So I have no idea if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Or since it's twins, maybe it's both. I don't know.
My
If
Well,
you know
they
anything
love us
about
half the
Gemini.
time and they hate us the other half of the time.
Mm.
So I
Maybe
have
better
so
than
many
your mama.
Geminis in my life that I love very dearly. Are you both Geminis?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're both Geminis. Several of my other friends are Geminis. My closest in age sister is a Gemini. And I think my older of my two brothers is also a Gemini. So I'm like, I don't see the problem with the Geminis, but I'm also a Virgo and I'm very,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
I will say that every place I've ever lived, I've collected like a best friend from that like stage of my life.
Mm.
And 90% of them are all Geminis, like within weeks of me. So Jeremy is 2 weeks before me, like a little, actually less than 2 weeks. My
Mhm.
best friend from my first year, like 2 years of college, is a Gemini 1 week before me. My best friend from grad school is the same exact day as me. And my
Dang.
best friend from undergrad, I have a complicated college thing, but my second undergrad was a week after me. So it was like literally like all Geminis, all like within the few weeks of each other.
And the
How
fact
did-
that there's two of them each, that's just like breaking up the odds, There's so many
Yeah.
of them.
There's so many of them, and they're all Geminis at the beginning of Gemini season.
Bless up.
Well, since I totally introduced you all as Hummingbirds, why don't I ask you all, what is the Hummingbirds Theater Troupe, and how did y'all get started?
Sure. So, who wants
I figured I would let Patti start first because
HBIC of Hummingbirds?
she's kind of that like driving train right now behind the Hummingbirds.
Most of the time, yeah.
You know how trains drive from behind?
What?
Anyway, go ahead.
Exactly.
It's just the caboose shoving the rest of the train forward.
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like herding cats.
Well, like
You know,
like on the subway,
hey guys, we gotta get this
like
done.
they just go like once it gets to the end of the line, it just goes back the other way.
That's true.
So which end is actually pushing, right? Or which end
Trains are
Does it
just older
turn
subways,
around?
and I think it's high time we talk about that.
All right, yeah. You know what? Next Hummingbird show is about the subway and which way does the train push?
Forget it. This show
Anyway.
is now about trains. We'll just forget the rest of the show.
Stop
It's
the
just
rest.
about trains now.
Sorry, go ahead, Patti. I interrupted you.
So the Hummingbirds is a small indie theater troupe started by my good friend Wyatt Flynn, or the Prince YY, as you might know him. We focus primarily on devised theater work. So that means we make it up kind of in a collaborative, creative way rather than a more traditional method, I guess. I don't know. But we've also done adaptations. We've also done shows that are a little bit more on the cabaret side. We've done a lot of our shows in bars. So our theater is very not restricted to the box of what Theater Philadelphia or like the greater theater scene in Philadelphia might make you think of when you think of theater. Am I covering this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
the
mean,
funny
I
thing also is that like when I think of Philadelphia theater, I think of those kind of companies, honestly, more so than I think of
Good.
like the established companies. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
means that you're in the know.
yeah, and not to like knock any theater company in Philadelphia, like we're all doing our own thing, but like, I think what makes the like Philadelphia voice so unique is that Philadelphia is a place where smaller theater companies, like anyone could start a theater company. Like there's like
Anyone
there's a lot less barriers. I mean, like there's still barriers in place, but like we have been a very small theater company. We have been for a long time, and in fact, like most, if not every single person who has worked for us has been queer in some capacity, which is often a barrier for a lot of people. But like Philadelphia is a city and like a theater community that cultivates like the voice of like smaller companies and marginalized people, and that's why the Hummingbirds thrive here.
Yeah, one of the reasons why it was started in the first place too is because of like that exact reason, and it's it's a very niche community when it comes to those like main stage places and those bigger theaters, those bigger production companies. And it's, as you were saying, it's like tough for the queer people to kind of break into those bigger theaters. And so then we have to kind of create our own. And that's exactly what our founder did, was say, you know what, I'm not going to audition for these theaters that are going to tell me that I can't do this role based off of what I look like or how I sing or whatever, you know. And so that was something that I always faced too in college, is like not getting cast in something based off of the things that I couldn't do, rather than people seeing the things that I could do and saying, well, let's work around that and try to help you in the other things.
Or work with the advantage that it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like we talked about pre-show, I am not much of a theater person, as far as like, I never really got involved in it when I was in school. And I think one of the weirdest things was whenever I was connecting to roles, when I was listening to shows, I was always attracted to like female roles. Because I was like, I feel like I would never be cast in that. But I think with Hummingbirds, I think every single show that I've seen, there's always been pronouns listed in the program. There's consistently at most shows been a non-binary character. I think it's great that both the character and the actor gets their pronouns in the program. So it's really great to see that really inclusive theater company popping up, especially because there is such a thriving trans and non-binary community within Philadelphia.
Yeah. And I hear time and time again, like, I mean, CJ can definitely speak to this more, but people in the community just not getting to play roles that they feel comfortable in, or roles that make them feel safe, and working with directors who aren't upfront with you and don't communicate what they can even offer you. Like, in addition to just being inclusive, we try to be a very honest company, and we try to be very open about how we're all working on this together, what we all need to bring to the table. Like, from day one, we were all doing written out contracts. Even if they were like, hey, I agree to pay you a split of the tickets. And that's what people agreed to. And I think that's such an important thing that we need to worry about, is taking care of each other in that way.
Yeah. I having worked with, smaller companies like ours and also larger companies, I think there's like this expectation in the community that, like, if you're a smaller company, if you're working with a smaller company, then you get what you get. And like, I remember one of the first days of a Hummingbird show that I was working on recently. We handed out the contracts on the first day, and all of the actors in the room were very pleasantly stunned, and were like, I never expected to like be able to like discuss the terms that I'm agreeing to with all of you and like sign up. And there's such low, like the bar is set so low for smaller theater companies. And I think that if we want to show ourselves as like people who are creating just as valid and like just as wonderful work as like any other company in theater, then we also have to take ourselves seriously and have to take our artists seriously as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of the great things that I've watched a few of your shows, CJ. CJ does, for those of you who do not know, a daily show at 4 p.m. Called, was it 4 p.m. with CJ Higgins?
You crushed it. That's it.
Yes. Tricky name to get. I don't know how I could have forgotten. But I think it's really great when you talk about like treating actors with respect, talking about consent and boundaries prior to casting and throughout the process, especially when it comes to like love scenes, kissing scenes, making sure that everyone is comfortable and making sure that everyone is respected. And I know you also are kind of a consult for trans people in theater, a consultant as well as just a trans theater person.
Molly, I try to be. Yeah. I not to like, I don't want to bring down the mood of the whole cast. So I will just plainly say that early on in my career, I worked with companies that were willing to take advantage of younger artists, companies that were willing to take advantage of artists who did not see any other opportunities for themselves, or ones that might not be able to find other opportunities more easily. And I think that there was definitely a climate in the past, and we're still working on it every day, of treating artists with the respect that they need, and like making sure that just because we're performing on stage doesn't mean that what we're doing isn't affecting our mental health in any capacity, and treating our audiences with a similar respect, allowing them to consent to the theater watching experience as well. I am a huge advocate, and I feel that the Hummingbirds are as well, of content, trigger warnings, things like that for all of our productions. There's like always been the backlash against them as like, oh, it's going to spoil the show. And quite frankly speaking, if I think that giving a vague summary of your themes spoils the show, then you're not putting on good theater.
No.
Yeah. Also, do you want a trigger to be a surprise to your audience?
Yeah.
The potential trigger.
It's really upsetting. Honestly, I did an interview about this with an online publication maybe a year or so ago, probably around the time we were doing We'll Sleep When We're Dead, because we talk about content warnings very seriously at the Hummingbirds, and we feel very passionately about them and making sure that people are able to see theater safely. A big tenet of what we do at the Hummingbirds is making theater accessible for people like us, and for people who might not be as fortunate as us, or as privileged as us.
Just anyone who isn't us.
Honestly, anybody who wants to come see our show is able to and welcome to. And I mean that in a big way financially, I guess. Because we've always offered pay what you decide options. We've changed the wording on how that works, just, for better business opportunities. Because some people take advantage of those systems, but we always make it a priority to look out for people who can't afford to go see very expensive fringe shows. But
we always monitor.
I had a point there, and I got a little lost in the sauce. But your thought reminded me of something in that realm.
Yeah, I mean, it's like something that we're always, like, the accessibility of our theater is something we're always looking into. I know that I studied accessibility in theater a lot while I was working for Theater Horizon, and that people think of accessibility as like simply like ADA accessible, and certainly that's something we are still very much working on as a company that primarily has historically cast like able-bodied members, but not as a routine.
That's also a Philadelphia problem. That's also a Philadelphia problem because a lot of venues are upstairs.
The venues in Philly are terrible. I can't think of a single show I've done in an ADA accessible venue.
Yeah.
There's so few of them.
Yeah.
There's so few.
But to that end, accessibility means a lot of other things too. It means like financial accessibility, accessibility to people who have like different sensory processing ways. It means a myriad. It simply means like it means like letting people show up to your show in sweatpants.
Yeah,
like
it means so many ways to try to make your works accessible. Thank you for explaining that.
Oh, no problem.
So I've noticed that we actually got quite a bit of comments that I wasn't paying attention to. There's a lot of birthday wishes for Jeremy.
Oh, good.
Thank you, everyone.
We got Sparkle saying, "I miss you all."
Hi, Sparkle.
Hey, Dana.
Hello.
Sending you love.
Love you, Dana.
We have a Lord Save Us from the Geminis from Zsa Dali. We have
agreed.
We have you should convert to Gemini. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know how that works.
I think that was to Patti, who knows so many Geminis.
Oh, okay, yeah, that
maybe
makes sense. We have Eric Jaffe saying, "Yes, my daughter in her sash and crown."
Yes, look at her.
Why don't you tell us what the sash and crown are from?
So my sash is from when I won Miss Latage Amateur Drag. I won that, I think, right before the quarantine started. And I won $100 in the sash. and I was
Yes.
told that my crown was in the mail and it was delayed from somewhere else because of the coronavirus. So hopefully Miss Rona gives me my crown. But luckily, I am a diva, as you said earlier, and I have a whole box of crowns and then some.
Yes.
No one's
I have a
surprised.
whole box of crowns. So I had a different crown on the night that I won, and I crowned myself and took pictures on the stage with my partner. And I was just like, I don't win anything. Wow, cool. But this crown that I have on my head is a custom creation.
Ooh, pretty.
Oh,
So
Shiny.
my good friend and friend of the Hummingbirds, she designed our company logo and a couple of our posters. Libby Reindl, aka Long Thing. She's been a
Libby.
good friend of mine since college, and she came over one night and we just like dumped all my jewels on the ground, and she whipped this up for me.
Love
It's
it.
got a little like spider web veil. This is from the dollar store. This is from some broken jewelry. I think some of these are from a necklace that Eric Jaffe gave me. I'm a pack rat, so I keep every piece of jewelry that I break and turn it into something else.
I mean, that's definitely a good way to go about it, because honestly, jewels are expensive.
Jewels are expensive, and like up close, like you can't fix the necklace that this used to be, and like the gems are not as shiny as they used to be. But on a Zoom call, when I need something cute to show off my hair and my gorgeous face and just, amp up my like work brunch.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, the nice thing about the internet, the one nice thing about doing shows on the internet is that it's not as like high definition. So like you can get away with things that are like kind of cute. Just like don't get too close to the camera. It's only kind of shiny, that's fine.
And it's like I take turns being like, what do I care about most today? It's like, okay, I'm gonna, make sure here up looks presentable and cute, but like I'm not gonna zoom in on my face.
Right.
Even though I'm stunning.
Yes.
Yeah, so Patti and I are both, for those of you who are watching don't know, Patti and I are both drag performers, and so I was texting Patti. I was like, are we doing full drag looks today or something a little more subtle? So this is considered subtle for those of you who I consider it a theater subtle because I'm painting for the back of the room. But it's by no means actually subtle.
It's subtle because I didn't glue down my eyebrows. I just drew on top of my other brows.
Yeah, same. I was like,
and I didn't I'm not wearing as much foundation.
I need one of those crowns so I can also do a subtle look.
Yeah.
Where is your birthday crown?
Oh, shoot.
Rookie mistake right there. Yeah. But speaking of your birthday, I heard you
I
also
was expecting one in
released...
the mail, but it's fine.
There you go.
What?
I should have sent
Jeremy,
one. That
I
was
have
my
a
bad.
whole box of crowns right here.
Oh my god.
And you didn't send one to Jeremy?
I forgot.
That looks like it would look so good on me.
I think it would sit right in your curls.
Yeah, you know what? See if I could just pretend.
Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah, you look beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
Stunning.
I don't think
so. So Jeremy, I heard a little rumor that on your birthday you released a song.
I did. That's correct.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah. So I am a singer-songwriter, as you said before, and have written more songs than I care to tell everyone about. And I only have a few of them that are actually available online. And last year, I think when I reposted my EP, no, because that was in January. But when I at some point I had posted a new original song, a video on Facebook, because I do that from time to time. And I ended up getting a text message or a comment from somebody who is in school in New York for production, for music production, for mixing, for all that kind of stuff. He plays a bunch of instruments. His name is Sam Gunsberger, and he's one of my friends. Actually, he's the younger brother of one of my friends from religious school that I've known since like second grade. And we weren't close by any means. Like, we didn't really know each other growing up. We were just like, he was just like the brother of my friend. So it was really cool to get this message that was like, hey, Jeremy, I love your original song, and I'm currently looking to produce some things. Would you like to come to my studio, the studio that I'm working at in New York, and record this song? And I was like, oh my God, this is like literally the dream come true right there. It happened. And so of course I was like texting him back immediately. Yes, I would love that. Thank you. When can we start it? So I ended up sending him, oh, bye, Patty. I ended up sending him a recording of me just playing guitar and playing the song into my iPhone. It was just like a voice memo on my phone. And I sent him the recording of that probably via like Google Drive or something. And he downloaded that into GarageBand or whatever he uses, probably way better than GarageBand. Not GarageBand at all. I don't know why I said that.
Yes, the software of professionals.
So definitely not GarageBand, as you can tell. And he mixed his magic on it, and he created this whole track for it. And then I actually went down in December, and I actually have another one that I'm going to be releasing either in a month or two. And I went down, I recorded vocals, I re-recorded the guitar, and he basically just kind of like mixed the whole thing together and mastered it and created the track that I released yesterday. And the song itself, I actually wrote 3 years ago. When was Glister?
That was 3 years ago.
So 3 years ago, 2017, for a Hummingbird show. Is that?
So there's so many great songs that I love that come from Hummingbird shows. Like,
oh my gosh,
there's like so many.
A lot of my favorite songs that I've written have come out of Hummingbird shows, and it's really funny because the two that I sent him probably like 10 songs, because that's what I like to do with producers. I like to send them a bunch of songs and say, which ones are you inspired by? Which ones do you like? And which ones can we work on together? Which ones, all this stuff. And then they send me back a couple. So he wanted to work on 2 of them. He happened to pick 2 of the Hummingbird songs that, like, I think I only sent him 2 Hummingbird songs, and he picked those 2.
Of course.
Yes. Well, those songs are so good.
Yeah. So
it's Set on Fire, right?
Yeah, it's that one in Dangerous Fire. And
Travis says, did Patty leave? Patty texted me and said, my Wi-Fi crying emoji. So I think that she's having Wi-Fi issues. Hopefully she'll be able to get back on.
Yeah.
Well,
I miss her already.
I know, same. It's a little bit quieter without her.
It's a little bit funny. Everything reminds me of music. It's like, I mean, you're both musicians. I feel like everything reminds me of a song, and I have constantly like a little jukebox happening in my head.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
Like
I was actually talking about it with my family this weekend because my father likes to play music in the living room and then walk outside and go into the garage and work on something and play music, like something totally different in the garage. And so all weekend long, I'm like, Alexa, play hype birthday music. Alexa, do this and that. We don't have Alexa. So the whole time my family is just like, what are you doing? Stop doing that. We don't have Alexa. I'm like, it's a hint. You need to get Alexa because you walk out of the room and you go play music in every single room in the house, and then there's music playing.
Oh my gosh.
And then apparently my mom decides that's the time that she's going to get upset about it. And it is what it is. But so here I am, and I'm like, well, you know what could fix your problem is you just like say, hey, Alexa, or hey, Google Home, or whatever it is, send my music to whatever the other room is that I'm going into. And then boom, problem solved.
Yeah.
And Patty's back, but I think she just went to go reset the router. I think she's it's not working because as I hit like show, she stood up and walked out of frame. So I'm like, oh no.
Patty, come back.
Baby, come back.
But the whole point of it is that like we literally, my whole family has like a soundtrack to our lives. We have music playing at every single moment of every single day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, when we're hanging out, whatever. If I'm in my room, like I'm constantly listening to something.
Either Patty's frozen or she's just like has like stopped moving.
Oh my.
I think she's frozen.
That is some brilliant freeze work right there.
But I will say,
I'll try.
Currently, the songs that keep getting stuck in my head happen because of TikTok. Oh no, she's gone again.
Oh gosh, the TikTok.
Dang it, Patty.
I
literally
like the TikTok game because I have no TikTok game at all. Like I'm so bad at TikTok still. Honestly, it's embarrassing.
My comments are more popular than my videos. Like I have a comment that has over 3,000 likes, and the video with the most like has like 15. And I'm like, how did this happen?
Fuck.
And the best part is that my most liked comment on TikTok is a critique of the movie Burlesque and how unrealistic it is.
Honestly, that's your brand really hard. My very first TikTok got like over 100 likes, and I have not reached that since then. So I think I peaked early. And also that TikTok was me and my partner making fun of Tennessee Williams.
So you found a niche pocket within TikTok.
The Tennessee Williams stands are like, yes, a TikTok for me.
I think
I also wonder sometimes if that's just like all these people on TikTok who have no idea who Tennessee Williams is, but they want to act like they do know who Tennessee Williams is, so they all hit the like button.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's the thing that always gets me is like there's no one around, like no one's looking at your likes, no one is paying attention to you at all, and you still feel the need to lie to be pretentious. Like why?
There's no like record except for on twitter.com.
Well, you can make your likes visible, but like who's really paying attention to your likes? Like
everybody who yelled at J.K. Rowling for very good reason.
Yes, I feel like with celebrities it's a little different, but like some random TikToker who has like 5 followers, who's looking at your likes?
It's not gonna matter.
But I think the one song that's been stuck in my head like the longest out of any TikTok song is White People Taco Night. Taco shells from the grocery store and grab beef from the grocery store.
Shredded cheese from
the grocery store.
I did have like, I've put up like maybe 3 TikToks to the public right now. And the second one that I put up got like 1,400 views or something like that, or like plays or whatever it was, and it got 40 likes. So
not bad.
It was literally my cat, right? And they were just like, I had her on my lap, and I was moving her feet, and she was dancing to my Corona. I mean, my Sharona.
My Corona.
Oh gosh.
We have a few comments. Travis says, I, for one, always appreciate the TikToks Beary sends me on the reg. Yeah, I just like send to, I'm like, this person will like this one. I literally sent one to. I let them all
build up over like a long period of time, and then I get to go through and read and like watch like 14 of them all at once that Beary sent me in the last 2 days. Yeah. And then I'm like super excited about it because they're all hilarious. And then I turn to my partner and I'm like, how funny are these? And then I send them to him.
I always do that too, but I never know how to like acknowledge that I liked everything that happened. I just want to send messages all the time that are like, love this batch. Good batch.
It's a good batch of videos, internet videos.
Right, because I want to like individually reply to each one.
Travis is same.
Yes, exactly.
So Harley has said, I had a TikTok go viral because I had a nip slip in it.
Whatever it takes.
That was like barely a nip slip. It was like just the top of the nipple.
Whatever it takes.
Anything works, right? Anything works.
As long as it doesn't get you banned or shadow banned. Everyone talks about shadow banning. I'm like, I don't really know what that means, but like, sorry it happened to you.
I always think of the Lion King, the Shadowlands.
Shadow banned.
Oh my God.
It's Heather Healy being like, the shadow band.
I just noticed this comment too. I've literally never heard that song. Is that what's happening on white TikTok?
Yeah.
Yes. What song is this?
The White People Taco Night.
White People Taco Night.
But the answer is yes, Harley. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening on TikTok.
That's what's happening on white people who know BaryTylermoore.
I literally sent it to everyone on my
Tyler Moore TikTok.
It's funny because you sent it to me and Quentin had showed it to me like 2 weeks prior.
Well, like
There
I
it
had
is.
seen it.
I did find
sent it.
the full video that's not on TikTok. It's on YouTube, and there is an extended version with another verse. It's great.
It's Keith from the Try Guys, right?
Yes, and it's two of them from the Try Guys.
I think only Keith is from the Try Guys and the other two are his friends. I don't remember. I haven't seen the full version, but I literally have seen several different versions on TikTok, and I have sent all of them to all of my friends because it's the only song that got stuck in my head for 3 days after hearing it once. And I was like, that's how you know it's a good song.
They put up another one that's the Dorito challenge. Did you see that one?
Yes. It's like how many Doritos can you put in your mouth, like stacked up? And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 Doritos. How many Doritos can you fit in your mouth?
I did that with Starburst as a kid, and I choked really bad.
Oh no. I just remember the fluffy bunny, and you like literally can't swallow it once you have all those marshmallows in your mouth. So the only option is to spit out this giant wad of masticated marshmallows.
I hated that game. Ugh, gosh.
That's disgusting.
Ugh, a sin.
Harley says clearly need to catch up on the TikToks you send me. Yes, please do. I send everyone I'm friends with on TikTok. I send like so many videos if I know them. Obviously, not the random people that I don't really know, but like, but if you have TikTok,
TikToks.
Everybody.
The TikTok that gets stuck in my head the most.
Everybody.
Sophia, the first theme song.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Oh my god, I am obsessed.
All right, then I became a princess overnight.
I love that song so much.
So much as are at sea.
So I like never have seen that Disney princess. I like it's like I guess it's like a straight to VHS or it's just like
it's a TV
show. No idea.
It's like a Disney
it's a TV show, but like from now, and so you wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, I don't watch children's television currently except for Steven Universe and
which is like barely children's television.
Yeah, I mean I'm watching Avatar right now, and like I breezed through it so fast. And like I literally have like 6 episodes left, and I'm like, how did this happen?
Oh my gosh! The renaissance of Avatar has been getting me through the past couple of weeks. TBH.
Yo, wait, are we all watching Avatar right now?
We should. No. It is top 10. I think it's like the number 1.
No, because like I also like just started it. I just restarted it last week.
Yes. Well, it is like the number 1 Netflix series in America right now.
Yep.
So it's not super surprising that we're all watching it, but also it hasn't been on any streaming platform in a while. So I was like, must watch.
It was on
now I gotta find
Netflix. You know what I have?
Oh my God, Steve!
Yes. I should have said it.
I don't think it's
DVD player broke though, so I can't watch any DVDs.
Heck!
I have a DVD player and a VCR.
But I also have Netflix, and so I just put it on Netflix because then it just plays the next one, and I never have to get up and change the DVD.
Exactly.
Oh my god! Ready for the cutest comment ever?
Oh my gosh, you guys! I got back from my birthday weekend in the Poconos, and the cat has not come in to say hi to me yet, and she just came in. Do you want to come on my lap?
Ophelia.
Fifi.
Hi.
Digital drag brunch.
Now that's what I call a showstopper.
Hello.
Can Ophelia be as famous as Morgan, Eric Jaffe's cat?
Yeah, she already is. She's got a whole band named.
Band named after her.
That's true. I don't know that Morgan had a whole band named after him. So,
are you all ready for the cutest comment on the thread so far?
I'm ready.
Sure. Oh, I knew it was that one.
We're watching Avatar with Phoenix.
I need to see videos of that.
For those of you who don't know, Phoenix is a 2-year-old and very adorable child.
The only good human that exists.
Amen.
Phoenix called me their friend today on video chat, and it made me blush.
I feel like I've had a deep impact on Phoenix's life because, oh gosh, I don't even know how long ago it was when Phoenix was first learning how to talk, and like doing like one of those games where it's like the duck says quack, the cow says moo. So I told Corey, I was like, it'd be funny if you trained Phoenix to say the Wyatt says cool, 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 cool.
Yes, I forgot that.
Apparently, to this day, Phoenix only calls Wyatt cool, cool.
Cool, cool.
That is the truth.
I knew that, but I didn't know the backstory, and I feel like it makes it better.
One of my favorite memories of Phoenix is when we sang them the Phoenix song at the rehearsal at the house one day.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? That was so adorable.
No.
For We'll Sleep When We're Dead, and I think I picked up a ukulele and just started playing a random song, and then CJ was like talking over it.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
So Wyatt says she knows my name now, but she does it so pointedly and weird. She's like weird about it.
Wyatt.
Aren't all 2-year-olds weird about it? Honestly, like most children, like
weird about.
Children haven't mastered social graces. I mean, neither have I, but like they like even less so with children. So
children are doing their own thing. They're the captain of their own ship.
Yes, they're like children are precious. Like I don't personally want to care for one at this time in my life, or maybe possibly ever, but like I can appreciate how precocious and like sweet they are. Like especially Phoenix is like the sweetest child and like thinks of others before themselves. It's like just like a pure cinnamon roll of a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. My partner and I talk about that a lot, where we just love other people's kids. Like we love
DVD.
having Phoenix in our life.
DVD,
but like,
not VCR.
No, I have a VCR.
You have a VCR?
I think
I have a VCR and a DVD player. I have a VCR.
I don't think I've had a VHS tape in my possession in at least 10 years.
My
grandma
exactly one. It is a recording of the play The Irish and How They Got That Way, and it's because my parents want literally nothing more than for me to produce that show. It is literally just a review of Irish music and then also talking about Ireland's history.
Is it an interesting show? Because I feel like it could go either way.
I haven't gotten to watch it because what VHS player do I own? I only have that VCR.
I have to borrow Patty's.
Watched it. I don't know.
My mom actually has like another one in her basement too. So like I have one to spare.
But like also I was talking about it with them the other day, and they were like, yeah, like I really liked the experience because like it was sort of like in a basement and there were like different bars set up, and I'm like, you're literally describing a hummingbird show. Like, are you sure you just didn't like the atmosphere of that specific production?
Have you watched that play?
Have I?
Yeah.
No, I have not, because I don't own a VHS player.
Oh, okay.
I only have the VHS that my parents gave me. It's not really anywhere else. I tried.
So Travis sent us a comment.
I'm ready.
Okay. What'd she say?
Chuckle up, everyone.
CJ froze. So Travis said, I mean, Morgan has the rum named after him, which is valid. So we have Ophelia.
Okay, you did not freeze for me.
Okay, great.
Ophelia has a band named, you're back, CJ. And then Travis said that Morgan has a rum named after him. So they're both famous cats. And then Travis also said, quick, what kind of benders are y'all? I'm a lava bender. However, we failed to do quick because this is from like several minutes ago.
No, we can answer it.
There you go.
I'm a blood bender.
You said you're a blood bender? Boy.
I could see that. So you're a water bender who can blood bend.
Right.
Yeah. Or just the avatar. Or I'll just be the avatar because it's my birthday.
Sure.
I could totally see you being an airbender or a waterbender.
They're pretty mischievous. Yeah.
What'd you say, CJ?
Oh, I was clarifying that you were talking about Jeremy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I personally think that I'm a waterbender. I would go, I feel like water or fire, because I am definitely not like the solid, steady, calm, like earthbender type person, or like the Zen, like monk type person to be an airbender.
Yeah, you definitely have that Katara in you where like it's a little bit sort of neurotic at certain times. And
well, I feel like I actually identify very like well with Sokka.
I
don't know why, but I feel like that's the closest character that I like identify with. Patty,
I don't watch the show.
Oh no, Patti.
Okay, we've been talking about this way too long for you to have not seen it.
Okay, Patti, when quarantine is over, you and me.
Yes. We're just
No
on
thanks.
Netflix right now.
No thanks.
Yeah, but it will be
I
a
told
lot more
Quinn I wasn't
fun.
really
as,
interested in
like,
watching it.
Well, are you interested in us trying to figure out what type of vendor you are?
Yes.
Independent of you?
Yes.
Terrific. Then let's do that. Council of 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with fire.
I was gonna say fire too.
I could see fire.
Yeah.
But
Or
like,
water.
yeah,
But mostly fire.
if this might be a hot take, so I feel like water is like the Hufflepuff of answers.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on that further?
I just feel
Oh
like
my.
I feel like water is an element that can apply to so many different people in a myriad of ways, much like Hufflepuff. So, like, whenever I'm thinking of like the different bending styles, I'm thinking of partially of the fighting styles that they're inspired by. Could I name any of them right now? No, but I have like a passing knowledge of what they are from watching the behind the scenes shit of Avatar. And I feel like water is something that incorporates like so many of the other different elements in different ways and like is something that could apply to a lot of people. So if you're like not entirely sure of what the answer is, much like Helga Hufflepuff, you could just come over here. Just come over here to water bending.
My favorite thing though about Hufflepuffs
Wow,
is the
I feel
theory
like
that
the Hufflepuffs are just cowering in the corner right now because they wouldn't even be able to come back to that.
Well, it's not a honestly.
It's not a bad thing.
Hogwarts houses, Hufflepuffs are actually like the best house in terms of inclusion because every other house is based on you being like aspiring to be like the best at something. Are you the bravest? Are you the most cunning? Are you the most smart? And Hufflepuff is like anyone should be allowed to learn magic. These are preteens.
So basically, Hufflepuff is the hummingbirds of Hogwarts.
What?
Well, they're the hummingbirds of Hogwarts.
I hope so. I think hummingbirds could aspire. We could learn a lot from Hufflepuffs, and we should aspire to be the Hufflepuffs of the theater.
So wait, I'm gonna step back just for a second to say that Patti is definitely a firebender.
Yes.
But if we're talking about in terms of like the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe and not the Korra universe, then or like the timeline, right? Like Patti is obviously the one that like one of the firebenders that like helps Aang out.
Yeah.
No question.
I mean, like there's a whole context with the war and like colonialism with the Fire Nation.
Yep.
And like their rule where fire bending is based purely in negative
also
feelings
genocide,
and anger and stuff
also
like
casual genocide.
Yeah.
Well,
they're very much the Slytherins of the Avatar universe.
So like, let's talk about this for a second though, because there's like, speaking of TikTok, there's a TikToker that I follow, Human Espresso, who is a film major, and she talks about a lot of like different TV shows and movies. And one thing she's talked about is how like Draco Malfoy like did not have a redemption arc, and like he doesn't deserve one because he didn't really seek to change. Whereas Zuko like really like actively like made efforts to like undo the damage that he did and like be a better person and like make up for the shit that he did as a Fire Nation person. And I'm like so here for that dialogue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about cartoon redemption arcs and let's talk about She-Ra.
Oh God. I haven't
obsessed.
watched She-Ra yet. I know I need to.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, first of all,
I know.
watch it immediately. It is one of my favorite shows that has come out of this quarantine. Well, I mean, I've watched it before that, but season 5 came out recently, and it was amazing.
See, the last season's so good. This hair is for a look I'm doing, inspired by the show.
Yes, glimmer. I love it.
It's very cool. And I brought it up because I recently watched part of a video with Clinton. It was a long video essay about the redemption arc in She-Ra, and it compared it to the one in Avatar. And we discussed it a little bit and how it's like important for a villain to have a redemption arc, they have to grow, they have to show remorse, they have to show that they're willing to change, and that's something that they really showed in She-Ra really well. Also, it's really gay.
Yeah, and that's I feel like you definitely watch it because it's gay. Like, and also like
watch it because it's so gay.
It's so gay. Like, there's literally
a canonically non-binary character that uses they/them pronouns.
Yes, they do.
And like the evil villain of the season, like, completely uses their they/them no pronouns with no complication at all, because it's just not even talked about. It's not a drama that somebody is queer, that somebody uses different pronouns. It is just normal, and it's beautiful, and everybody's so cute.
I love that.
And there are queer characters who are in like committed relationships, and they don't like shy away from showing affection on the show. It's wonderful. But
I will say that I did almost start watching it with Jeff the other night, and then we started watching New Girl instead.
New Girl hasn't aged well.
You know, a lot of things have not aged well.
But I love Zooey Deschanel, so it is what it is.
Right.
And also, I really want to play True American. The drinking game they invented for that show. I really want to play that.
I feel like I'm not smart enough to like know the trivia and history parts of that game, but I like the drinking parts.
I feel like I wouldn't actually do it about like American history because I don't really know that much about history or geography.
We'll do it about Broadway.
Yes.
We'll make our own Broadway drinking game.
I am actually really in for that one.
And we'll get really drunk and sing show tunes, which is, all we ever want to do anyway.
That's true.
That is very true.
I mean,
honestly, what
else
do you want to do? That's one of the things I was thinking about the Bacchanal party. I was like, I definitely want to do that again, because it's just like everyone's like, it's low key, low pressure. Like, people don't have to like prepare things. You can just kind of like be there and just like go with the flow and sing songs and have fun and just be with friends.
Exactly.
Oh, how I missed that. A few more comments that we missed. CJ Travis said, as a Hufflepuff, I'm here for this analysis.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hufflepuffs are loyal and kind.
Yes, exactly.
Samantha says, I'm a proud Huffly Puffly.
Samantha.
Yeah, I mean, well, speaking of Harry Potter and redemption arcs, let's talk about Snape and how J.K. Rowling doesn't really understand how redemption arcs work. Because Snape is a creepy incel who abused children. He did not deserve redemption, nor for Harry to name his child after him. That's my hot take for the day.
I won't argue that one.
J.K. Rowling is a TERF.
A TERF.
I don't think she deserves more time on this show than we've already given her.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on from Harry Potter.
Let's move on from her. Well, actually, we're coming up towards the end of the show, so let's open it up to audience questions. Perfect time, little piece. You can ask a question. I just got here. Oh my God, I've been cleaning so much, I lost track of time. It happens. And if you ever missed the show, there were also streaming live to YouTube. We leave them up and put them in a playlist on the Satan Studios page. So you can always go back and watch old episodes watch any episodes that you missed.
Watch again the next time you're cleaning.
We're happy to see you too.
Oh, hi, little piece.
Love you, little piece.
Me stan. All right. So if anybody has questions, pop them in the comments. And if we're not here at the beginning, just a reminder that we split our tips between performers and the emergency fund. So if you are still working and have funds available, please consider donating because it goes to support performers in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Specifically performers on the screen right now.
Yeah.
And others. Et al.
Speaking of which, actually, that is something that I've been doing on my show. I know CJ has been doing on their show as well, is to not just, ask for donations or ask for tips, but to also try to be donating and try to be raising awareness of, how many people are either out there doing exactly what we're doing, and just trying to make a living in this time, or people that aren't able to do that. I feel very fortunate that I have the amenities that I do to be able to get on and do these different shows. I feel very fortunate that I have the reach that I do and the support that I do from various people. And, you know, it's really times like these that I think about a lot of my friends that don't necessarily have that didn't necessarily have the support from their family, or didn't necessarily have the support from the community, or, you know, didn't necessarily have the funds to be able to go and make performing work. You know, I know that Patti is the kind of person that has to work and also, you know, has a full-time job and also is a full-time performer. And that is not an easy life to live, you know? And so I'm thinking about a lot of people like that during these times who aren't necessarily able to continue to perform. I got a lot of friends that I've heard of that can't even find it in themselves to perform for a camera right now. And
it's difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I'm even more fortunate that that's not something that phases me. That's something that like I'm so able to find like all those little opportunities, all those little silver linings and everything, where it's like, you know, I'm able to do that. I'm able to get up there and just perform for people and take any little bit of validation that I get and any little bit of support that I get, you know, even if it's from my parents and nobody else, you know, because I'm lucky to have that. And that's what I have to be happy about during these times.
Yeah, I mean, well, I alluded to this earlier, but Patti and I actually started the emergency fund with Icon Ebony Fierst, who was our guest in episode 1, if you want to go back and watch old episodes.
I love Icon.
So Patti and I both have day jobs. And so I think one of the first things that when this was announced was realizing that so many of our friends who either work part-time gigs, work in food service, work in theater, and get a lot of their income from nightlife were suddenly going to have no source of income. And so we're like, we need to do something. So that's how the emergency fund came to be. And Patty's like, well, the Hummingbirds has this bank account and we can like use that extra, like the savings account, to like make sure we have a place to keep the money separate and make sure that we're keeping the books and everything straight. Patty, do you want to add anything about the emergency fund while we're talking about it? You can say no if you don't want to add anymore.
No, I'm feeling my heart right now. Just thinking about like those early March days definitely gives me a lot of big feels, because I was just like very sad that week, and I was just like feeling very like we need to do something.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking of contacting you before you contacted me, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. And like,
I was like, who can help me make this happen? Because I'm like a get stuff done person. People call me the HBIC of the Hummingbirds because I do a lot of the office work. But I was like, I need another person who knows how to do the getting the work done parts of this.
Well, I had a similar thought, because I was like, I can do spreadsheets. I can figure out how to like do the application. I can figure out how to get stuff out there. But like the actual like money stuff and like having a bank connected to like all of that stuff, I was like, how is this going to happen? Like, who's going to help with this? And then you reached out and was like, I have this like ready to go. Like, can you help me with this? I was like, yes, let's do this. And then we looped in Icon because we love Icon.
Well, I mean, and that just goes to show like what this community is like, because that was it. I right when this started, the first week that it happened, I started Facebook Live shows. The first week that everything shut down, I was on with Kozer. I went over to her house, and she had the same exact idea that I did. She said, if I can't work, if all of my gigs are going to get canceled, I'm going to go do gigs anyway. I'm going to go perform, even if, you know, 10 people are watching me or 100 people are watching me. I'm going to be happy for either one. And at the very start of it, she said, you know, or we both said, we want to donate. We want to be able to take this time and really give to these people, like to anybody who is less fortunate than us. And it was just really inspiring.
Yeah. And like y'all were on the forefront of this for sure. Like I remember I was backstage the day that I was backstage at a children's show, and the second the show was over, I was going to go home, and I planned to stay home for as long as it took for this to not be a thing. And so here I am still. But like I remember I was backstage and I checked my Facebook and y'all had launched this, and it took maybe a month later for like the Philly theater community at large, like the Theater Philadelphia, to launch their own fund. And like, not to knock that, because like it takes a lot to organize something on like the larger scale than they have, but for people who aren't really thinking about like what is or isn't larger scale, like y'all were there immediately and people got help right away. And
that was part of the problem too, because we launched immediately and then we realized, oh, we forgot to do this. We forgot to ask this. We need to like more information about this. Like we had forgotten to put an email or contact back. So we're like, we can only contact by sending people money. So I had to figure out a way to contact people. So like it was messy, but we were like, we need to get this out fast because people are so uncertain. We also got a rush of applications that first week because everyone was so uncertain of what was going to happen that we had to like create guidelines because everyone was like, oh my God, I have no gigs. I have no way of paying bills.
Yeah. It was definitely a time where like no one knew where this was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And no one knew how long this was going to last. And nobody really still knows right now, honestly. Yeah. Even with like the regulations opening up again and all of that, like nobody really knows how long this is going to be a situation. So like even however messy it was, and like that is just par for the course of like trying to meet an immediate need immediately.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we could talk about this for a while, but we actually got a few questions.
Amazing. I love that.
Little Piece said, y'all send us questions and then started talking. Yeah, there's a delay. There's a delay. So I asked for questions and I was like, I'm not going to sit here and wait for the questions to come in. So I started
that is just like Little Piece to just not be able to wait for.
We're not just going to be like,
oh, it's even better because the next comment is this.
Oh, CJ, I could join you. Hold on.
It's solid.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
But since actually Little Piece did two different questions. So we'll start with a Little Piece question. But before we do that, just one last thing about the emergency fund. We are currently not accepting applications because we emptied our account last week. And we were focusing on fundraising before we open it again. So if you'd like us to reopen the fund, please send us money and share the fundraiser with your friends. We'll put it in the comments. And so just make sure you're sharing that, telling your friends, donate. Anybody you know who's still working full time, please have them donate to that because currently we are shut down because we just did not have any more money left to disperse. And we hope to get up and running soon. So let's go to Little Piece's question. What are your favorite ways to take care of your voices/throats?
What a great question.
As singers.
Rest is the most important one. Being
sleep
able to get rest, sleep and general rest. As little as you are able, like if your voice is chasing rest, the least that you're able to talk, the best. And I know that's tough for like, I work in customer service, so I know that like there are jobs that necessitate talking for sure. But like the second you get home, and I say this lovingly, just shut the fuck up. And also, it's the mom thing to say, but no alcohol, no chocolate, no caffeine, no, to try to avoid acids, things like that.
I use alcohol a lot though when I am having issues with my voice. I sometimes will use whiskey to help. It's not helping, but it helps in the moment. It's a short-term solution. It's a band-aid, and I'm fully aware of that. And when I make that choice, and I know it's bad, but I still sometimes like you got to perform, and it's like I need to not have my voice hurt while this is happening, and so I'm going to take whiskey. And be careful. I'm obviously not going to do like a showstopper song when my voice is like that. So it's like whiskey to get through a low song and not do anything strenuous. But my favorite good thing is warm water and honey. And
I will counter that by saying just honey. And as much as I absolutely hate it, honey really does save your vocal cords. And one of the biggest things, we're not necessarily talking about like, can I go and can I sing a song? I think what the question here is kind of how do you continually sing every day, day after day after day, and sing all of these big giant songs, and like, sure, we go out and we drink at gigs, and there's no question about it. But a couple of little tricks that I have, like Nancy Sanderson always tells everybody to eat bananas. It actually does work.
Bananas also help if you have an eye twitch, by the way. If your eye is twitching all of a sudden, that's a sign of low potassium or some other like mineral that is available in banana. So if you ever have an eye twitch you can't get rid of, eat a banana.
Yep. A couple of things like especially when I have a sore throat or something like that, I mean, rest is definitely the number one thing, but like drinking tons of water and not expecting it to go away immediately, but letting it take time and and not being frustrated about it and all that kind of different stuff. Like one of the hardest things is being somebody who's like, even when I'm not performing, I'm constantly trying to practice. I'm constantly trying to sing. I'm constantly trying to like get better or write a song or whatever it is. And so it's like taking time and saying, no, don't do any of that stuff, just like take some time off. That's something, it's difficult, but that is really what it is.
Yeah. Honey also is like a natural cough suppressant. So like I love honey and bees. I'm like obsessed. So honey all the way.
Yeah.
What's funny is like I've kind of hate honey.
I hate honey.
Like I love honey in my honey in my tea. I love like honey buns. Okay, don't get me wrong, but like the spoonful of honey thing was absolutely ruined for me.
I love it.
Because I'll tell you what it is. When I was a child and I had to do shows and I would get a sore throat and I would take the spoonful of honey every single time. Now I'm an adult and I associate my bad sore throat and being really upset and stressed and freaking out about it with that spoonful of honey. And it's the most horrifying thing in the world because every time I just know, I'm like,
yeah, that's how I feel about vodka and broccoli.
All right.
Oh, God.
Patti, what do you do to help your voice?
Yes, Patti, what do you do?
When I want to pamper my voice, I'll do a little steam. I have the Vicks steamer mask machine, but you can do it over just like a pot of hot water if you want as well. And that's really nice. And it also feels nice on your face. And what I do when I have like a song that's really big and I like need to work on it and I need to like stretch that muscle, I do more vocal warm-ups. And I really like, you can go on YouTube and Google almost any kind of vocal warm-up and somebody has like a good video. And I tell people to take advantage of that because if you're not singing all the time, which I'm not singing anywhere near as much as Jeremy, especially right now, I'm not singing very much at all because I'm at home and all of my roommates are home and, just having to work at different times. And I don't always want to sing when people are around because I'm practicing and it doesn't always sound good.
Right.
I hate practicing around other people.
Oh God.
Like,
it's really stressful.
I wait till my roommate goes on a walk before I like practice at home because I don't like to do it when there's like people around.
I had to do a recording yesterday and I never felt more self-conscious than the fact that my partner I've been dating him for 8.5 years and he has heard me sing before and he's fine with me practicing, but I was just like, I have to go record just real quick. It's going to be 5 minutes. I'm so sorry. Just hold on.
Oh, yeah, so I feel that so much, CJ.
We got other questions?
We have other questions. Sorry. I was wondering if that was like an actual law.
That made me laugh.
I saw that one.
All right. So Matthew says it's gross, but gargling apple cider vinegar with a little honey is great for sore throat.
Actually, can I pause on this for just a second? Because there are a lot of different conflicting how do you cure a sore throat kind of things. And there's a difference between how do you cure a sore throat and how do you make it so you can safely sing with a sore throat. So apple cider vinegar with a little honey, and I've heard a cough drop at the bottom. You do tea, apple cider vinegar, honey, and a cough drop in it. And that's supposed to be like super good for if you literally can't talk, right? Because what it's doing is it's sort of killing a lot of the bacteria in here. It's sort of numbing your vocal cords. But what it's not doing is actually, yes, thank you, little piece. What it's not doing is actually I hate this word, moistening the area. It's not actually like
hydrate you a little bit.
Yeah, it's not hydrating your vocal cords. And what the biggest thing when you're singing is obviously that you need to have very lubed up vocal cords so that they will vibrate very quickly and they're not going to cause a lot of friction, which is going to harm them and create polyps or cysts or whatever it is on your vocal cords. Little piece.
Honestly, when I have a gig, I'm sitting at Latage and I don't know if I can sing my song or not. I have a glass of wine and it helps me relax and I get through it.
Another comment from Eric Jaffe: a world where Little Pieces on Vocal Rest is not a world that I want to live in. Agree.
Yep, same.
That's it.
Agree.
I find that that adrenaline also helps a lot.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll feel like a bad voice, or I'll feel kind of under the weather when I'm getting up there, and I'll kind of be down on myself and whatever it is. And the second that I get up on stage, it's kind of like that jolt of energy pushes you over the top, and you remember, okay, let me take that bigger breath. Okay, let me open my mouth a little bit wider. You like kind of get yourself into the moment. And
yeah, like you use your diaphragm more. You have the tools in your tool belt if you're someone like us who have been singing for like probably most of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You have certain tools in your tool belt that you don't even think about anymore. And you just get through it because you got to.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing I've learned from a certain weekly show that I used to do that I won't mention.
Right. The advice that most changed my life as a performer, as somebody who gets really anxious in general, because of all the anxiety, is I was doing a production of Threepenny Opera, and I lost my voice during the run, and I had to sing like a whole like soprano aria, and I was incredibly nervous because like when I was talking, nothing would come out. And so I walked up to the music director and I was like, I sincerely don't know what I'm going to do. And the music director said, this performance is your night off. Don't push your voice. Sing whatever comes out. Just whatever comes out of your throat comes out. Tonight is your night off. And you keep doing that and just keep taking nights off until your voice is better. And the nights that my voice was, when I was taking a night off, was actually some of the best performances I had, because I was actually using the legitimate techniques that I needed to be using instead of physically pushing my voice to be better. When you're pushing you're fighting against your own body, and that's going to produce those shitty results. But like when you're actually letting the voice like enter out of your body like more naturally, then Samantha said, wait, shut up, you were so good at Threepenny. That's because I was using the right vocal technique instead of pushing myself.
Yeah. In a similar vein, I was very sick when I played Eponine in Les Mis when I was a teenager, and we only had like one night performance to get it right for the video and for our like families. There was like one night performance and 1 day performance, and I was so upset at the time, and I pushed through it with like, oh my God, it was like breath. It was like a throat numbing spray.
Oh God.
Speaking of which, that's the worst.
Absolutely. That's also why you shouldn't have menthol crop drops. The same thing.
If we are talking about good ways to help your voice, that is not.
It's not that. Not that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't belt on top of that. I didn't shout the song like I normally would. I didn't go the full Lea Salonga belting on my own. But I put a lot of sadness into it because I was very upset.
Yeah.
And my family
there we go. And that's
so pathetic.
I still haven't learned how to like dissociate on stage though. So like I feel like I really haven't figured out how to like control that, because as a newer performer, sometimes that anxiety plus the adrenaline turns into super anxiety. And so like I feel my voice is wrong, and then I focus on the fact that my voice is wrong. And then I'm on stage and I'm like so focused on that I like forget my lyrics and I get nervous, and it's like a whole mess. But like when I'm feeling really emotional and I'm singing I'm really sad and I'm singing a sad song, people be like, oh my God, that's the best you've ever done. It's like, yeah, because I was feeling the words I was singing, and like getting into that headspace when you're not feeling that way is like such a skill that actors like have that I like am still working on.
I was acting, performing,
to work on these like at-home drag videos and talking about like singing at a computer screen. And something I have been doing more that feels better for me is singing more character heavy, quieter songs rather than my typical brassy Broadway belter songs. So I get to explore different pieces of my voice and different sides of my voice and practice singing softer and using my head voice and just using my voice in a way that you can't do in a bar, but you can do when your camera is this close to you.
Yes, this microphone is so sensitive that like I could literally like whisper a song and it would pick it up. So like there's no need to project my voice.
Like
and
you listen to people singing on
things.
You listen to people sing on like Facebook or Instagram and they're like holding their phone right here and they're singing, they could sing right into it. But if I were to be belting out like one of the songs I belt normally at the bar, it would sound crazy and it would sound terrible when I send it to my producer to put in the show. And I would have to, edit all the levels out and do a whole lot more work than if I am like having an intimate moment between me and the camera.
Wyatt submitted a question. Beary and Jeremy, which one of you should be the most iconic Gemini 2020?
Should we like step out of the room while
I'm just gonna go with neither.
Just gonna step out of the room while y'all
I think Beary and I can just share the title because that's the kind of people we are.
But like
that's
Helena Bonham Carter is a Gemini, and like who else did I googled this because I'm a nerd. Helena Bonham Carter is a Gemini. Lauryn Hill is a Gemini. Stevie Nicks is a Gemini.
Can I tell you who has the same birthday as me?
Who? Gandalf. I
don't share my birthday with anyone.
Okay. No one whatsoever.
No one.
My birthday's
I just typed in Gandalf because I got distracted.
Yeah, your birthday's definitely not a holiday.
No, not even for anyone.
I share my birthday with a lot of famous people and like a lot of people I know.
You know who I share a birthday with? Carol Baskin.
Good.
You love Carol Baskin.
Great.
If you haven't seen all of this show, the very first pilot episode is me getting drunk and talking about Carol Baskin with my roommate for an hour. So if you're interested in seeing that, go check us out on YouTube at C10 Studios.
Great.
Anyway, next question.
Great episode.
More questions.
CJ, any advice on getting and organizing a podcast?
Organizing a podcast.
Organizing a podcast.
A podcasts.
Podcast.
Thank you for correcting me.
I'm organizing a podcasts.
Little piece. Are you still cleaning?
There's a delay. Don't wait for a delay.
What's going on there? Okay.
But in terms of, this is a very broad question, so I apologize if my answer is broad. I would definitely say that social media presence is certainly everything nowadays. The more that people see about your podcast, the more impressed. And this is just in general marketing. The more that people see about your podcast, the more likely it is that they're finally going to make this decision to then listen to it. That's more of a marketing thing. In terms of the producing side, I have found that for my podcast, having a specific schedule has helped us a lot stay on task. Like with many other projects that are more ongoing, the trap is falling into, we're just going to do it whenever you want to, and then you never really want to, because who the fuck wants to edit a podcast? It takes forever and it's boring. You're just listening to your own voice.
And this is how I started this show. I was like, how am I going to get myself to do this every week? It must be a live show or I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to remember to record it on a Sunday and then do all the video editing before Tuesday every week.
Right. So I would definitely say that if you are able to set yourself on any kind of a routine at all. That is better than having no routine at all, or just deciding you're going to do it whenever, because the impulse is never true. Like, if you're actually looking into your heart, the impulse will never truly be there for you to record, edit, and publish a podcast. You have to like actually set a schedule for yourself to do it. And like, that's been particularly hard with my podcast with the quarantine. There's certainly been days that we fell out of we always do bi-weekly on Wednesdays, but there were like 1 or 2 episodes where it was like we do 2 times a month, but it just hasn't fallen on like the particular Wednesdays. And like, there's allowances to be made for the fact that quarantine's really tough, especially when you're booking guests. But trying to stick to literally any framework of a routine, highly recommend.
Alrighty, so our next question.
I will definitely agree with that, especially as someone doing live videos as well.
Yeah.
Because I started out doing every day, and it got to be way too much. And I'm sure that you can attribute to this because you've been going on every single day. But it's definitely, we're doing much different things, going on. And I was going on and trying to sing every single song that I knew
every day.
Every single day within an hour and a half, hour 45. And it would be an hour 45 with no breaks because I'm sitting in front of a camera like, holy crap, I'm on live, and like, you don't give yourself a second to breathe when you're sitting there on live. You just have to go, and you have to constantly talk, and you have to constantly think, and you have to constantly say, no dead air, whatever it is. But the second that I gave myself, like, I stepped back and I said, all right, I'm going to do it every other day. I'm going to start planning my shows out. I'm going to start thinking about it. I'm going to start giving myself different tasks. I'm going to start giving myself little fun facts to come up with, like actual things to say, all that different stuff. And like wrote a script out, wrote a game plan out, wrote all that kind of stuff out. It was like, okay, now I can do a show. Now I know how to make something happen on a regular basis.
Organization is key.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you don't have like a broadcasting software, like, how are you going to take a break? You can't put up like a thing saying, I'll be right back in 5 minutes. Like, if people just staring at your empty room being like, what happened? Like,
yeah, it's tough. Even if I need to like fetch an object from the other room, I feel like somebody's going to pop on, see an empty room, and then peace out.
Yeah. Or I'll be worried that's
what I would do.
That's the part that Facebook is going to show, like in its little preview as you're scrolling past, is just the empty room and nothing else. And it's like, well, I don't want that to happen, so I better be on camera for the entire hour and 30 minutes that people are expecting me to be. Oh my God, there is a motorcycle gang passing my house right now.
I hear it.
Yeah.
Did you hear my neighbor walking by and screaming outside my window earlier? Because that was fun.
This is insane.
What other questions?
So our next question comes from Eric Jaffe. And they said, can all 4 of you practice your favorite vocal warm-up without discussion at the same time?
So, like, do we want to count in or?
No. Next question. I need like a second to think about what my favorite like vocal warm-up is.
We could try it right now.
We can do it 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
I need to think of what it is. Hold on. Give everyone take a second to think of it.
I got it already. I already know what mine is.
I'm gonna sit back for mine.
Okay, me too. I'll sit back for mine a little bit too.
Okay.
Wait, are we doing like? Should we start on the same note?
No discussion at all. We're just gonna do it.
No discussion.
And
no
discussion.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Do re mi fa, do re mi fa so, do re mi fa so la, do re mi fa so la ti, do re mi fa so la ti, do ti la so fa mi re do do ti la so, do ti la so fa, do ti la so fa mi, do ti la so fa mi re, do ti la so fa mi re do.
There's lots of girls and diamonds.
We all picked a different one, which just shows you how many there are. Another favorite of mine is Bumblebee, 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 Bumblebee.
That one's really good.
So yeah, that was an experience, and I hope someone joined in the middle of that and was like, "What the frick is going on right now?"
I hope you like Leonard Bernstein's song cycles, because that's what mine was.
And then I don't know what this is in reference to because it was so long ago. But
it was a joke about Jeremy said cysts on the vocal
cysts.
cord.
I was wondering what that was a joke about. Thank you.
It was a
I
joke.
went on the whole tangent about the apple cider vinegar, and I totally didn't realize what I was saying. It's all good.
I also forgot that Balena is an opera singer. It said, if you're in a real pinch and you need to sing for Broadway, prednisone, but last resort. So steroids can help if you're really in a pinch and you need to perform.
Yeah. And like there's a last minute short-term solutions, which are fine. There are long-term solutions that are also really helpful. It's important to distinct between those two. Those are unique fields.
Yes.
You cannot use short-term solutions for the long term.
Yeah, that's real. And then some follow-up. We have no discussion. I'm so ready. And I said no discussion.
We didn't do discussion.
We tried.
We were talking logistics only. We weren't I stopped any actual discussion, nipped it in the bud. We only talked logistics.
Get it out of there.
And of course, yes. So Eric Jaffe enjoyed that.
Thank you. I'm sending you my headshot and resume now.
And so did Jeremy's uncle, ?
That's my dad.
Dad. I knew it was one of your relatives. I just didn't remember which one.
Hey, Dad.
Hi,
Also,
Dad.
the profile picture is so small I couldn't see who it was. But hi, Dad. And then Little Piece says, Sandra O and I are birthday twins.
Oh, there we go.
It's a pretty cool one.
Look at everybody with the fun birthday twins.
Oh my.
Well, until the year, I did not have one that was fun. So Carol Baskin became famous in February, March. So and up until recently, I did not have a fun birthday twin.
My birthday twin is
I have Amy Poehler. I have Nick
I love Amy
Jonas. I have Molly Shannon. I have Flo Rida.
You have so many.
David Copperfield.
When's your birthday?
I do. And I know a lot of people in my life, like people who I've met. One of my best friends has the same birthday as me. It's just a very common date, September 16.
I have the same birthday as my brother-in-law.
That's pretty cool.
Napoleon the Third.
That's a fun party.
That's
one of my
better than
brother's
the other.
best friends from growing up.
Oh, Travis says Lucille Ball and Andy Warhol.
That sounds right.
And then Jeremy's dad says that was awesome. Great question, Jaffe. And then hi. Spelled H-I-G-H. So I'm not sure if that's instructions or a typo.
It's both.
Could be both. Could be both.
Could be both. And then Hiroshima.
Oh, so no, you have to read the comment before that.
Also Hiroshima.
Before that.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. And then are they all Geminis? LOL. Is that from Patty's list?
She was born in September.
No, my list. I'm a Virgo,
so they're all Virgos. Nick,
I would say, of course you are, but I have no idea what the traits of a Virgo are because, like I mentioned earlier, I only read things about Geminis.
No, listen. If you don't, everybody who knows horoscopes, plug your ears right now. If you don't know horoscopes, all you have to do is if somebody says something about their sign and they're like, "Oh, I mean, I'm a Taurus," you go, "Right."
Like that makes sense.
God, no, I get that.
I can see.
Or even, wow, yeah. Just do that.
You just be like, "Oh, I'm such a Virgo," and that's it.
Yeah. That's all you have to do is go, "Oh my God, yeah, for sure."
I literally know nothing about astrology, so sometimes I'm just like, this is a Gemini thing just because it's something that I do, and I figure like it works both directions, right? Things that I do are Gemini things. If Gemini things are right? Is that how that works? I have no idea.
One time, it was for my sister's bachelorette weekend. There was this one girl who was really into astronomy at the time, and or astrology. I always mix up the two. She was
astronomy is the study of stars.
Yes. And funnily enough, I took a class on it in college. You could see how well that turned out. But she would hear people's signs and then give really vague, like, oh, dependable, loyal, adventurous, and people would be like, yeah, no, for sure. And then I walked up to her and I was like, I'm a Taurus, you're not allowed to say the word stubborn. And then she stared in silence for 20 seconds, trying to think of like
20 minutes.
Fucking wild. No, she stared at me for like 20 seconds and I could see like the equations floating in front of her face, cutting out all the synonyms for stubborn she was about to say to me. Like, okay, I can't say stubborn. What else is
obstinate? All righty. Well, I think that's a good place to end for today because we've actually gone pretty long today. But I'm not surprised by that. I knew getting the four of us talking would definitely run over.
You did skip Samantha's question though.
What? Oh, which one? Hold on. I did.
What have you learned working on the
what do you
Hermanburbs?
Humminburbs.
Hermanburbs. I just wanted to see that one up on the screen, to be honest.
We talked about the hummingbird.
The Hermanburbs.
Actually, since this question is here, I will mention that I was in a Hummingbird show.
Yeah.
Called The Artist Temple, which was earlier this year, even though it feels like it was 10 years ago.
It was only 3 months ago.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Me and Jeremy and my partner Quentin wrote it. And we brought on a couple of our nightlife friends to help us with some of the ensemble work. And Beary got a featured singing role, and it was very delightful. But something I've learned from working with the Hummingbirds is to keep records of everything, literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you spend, every song we write, every costume we suggest, take a picture, take a video, take a recording, make a spreadsheet, make a receipt. If you handed somebody cash, make a receipt for it. It's like 10 minutes. Insist that all of your contractors use invoices, even if they don't want to send them. You have to bug them to send you an invoice.
Which is like, don't you want to get paid?
Keep records of everything.
Opposing that,
right?
Something I've also learned. Like, while you do need to keep, obviously, yes, I totally 100% agree with you. Keep records of everything. The other thing that we always say is nothing is sacred.
Yes.
You know, and so while you do want to keep a record of, obviously we keep a record of every single thing that we've ever done in our entire lives, because I love to look back on all the things that weren't used, but also to remember that things can constantly change. And, you know, in realizing that one thing doesn't work, you can kind of find the other thing that does work. And that's something that's helped me out in, you know, in all of my various aspects of life.
Yeah.
And those things go hand in hand, because like if you wrote a song and then you work on it for 2 weeks and it's changed drastically and you're like, actually, I like the original better. If you threw away your old lyrics, you can't, it's like, do you remember them? Can you actually go back? Yeah. So having a record allows you to be like, let's go back to this version and start from here and go a different direction.
And you can reuse, reduce, recycle material.
Yeah.
We made a whole 10-minute show based on material we did use in Pangea.
Yep.
Something that I also
was called Scrapped.
Something that I've also like found really interesting in researching, because a big part of my show is that I love to talk about the songs that I perform. I love to give like, here's the album it was on, here's when it came out, here's all the people that collaborated on writing it, and then I as I'm finding all that information out, I find out, you know, they wrote it, like Bruce Springsteen wrote this song in his hotel room while he was recording whatever song it was, because of the pressures of them telling him that he needed to write that song. Yeah. And then this brilliant song comes out of it, you know, or whatever it is. And then I'm researching these songs that are like 100 years old, you know, that have been around since the 40s, and that they started out as having a totally different idea, or like the fact that I read about how Tomorrow from Annie originally started in a completely different form, that was in a short film about how life is going to be better in the 70s and everything is great, and let's forget about yesterday because tomorrow is going to be even better than today. And the song is like, The way we live now is different from the way it was yesterday. It's so freaking weird.
Yeah.
But like the melody is exactly the same. And what the song ended up turning into and what it ended up like becoming after years and years and years and like working on it and going back and taking all of these different thoughts within the song and different inspirations as to why it needed to become written and why it needed to become the thing that it did. Like now it is this iconic piece of art. It's this song that everybody knows, you know, and for me to go back and research and see these like humble beginnings of all of this art and all of these songs that we know so well, and that they're not. Oh, hello,
Fifi.
Come on.
My favorite one of those though is definitely that the fact that Dolly Parton wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You in the same day.
Yep.
Right.
And that's just iconic. And like before I started songwriting, I never really understood like how you could write 2 songs in one day. But like, even though like now I'm like, okay, writing songs can happen very fast sometimes. It's still impressive that those 2 very iconic and famous songs were written in the same day, because like you can churn out a lot of songs, but the fact that both of them in the same day were so good and became amazing singles is impressive.
Yeah. Can I really quick say what I have learned from the bards? Eric is rushing me right now. So
Eric Jaffe is the ultimate at not dragging things on. So we should all probably take a page out of their book right now.
Mine's gonna be super quick. My super quick thing, what I've learned from working with the Hummingbirds, is that nothing that I create myself will be the same as what I can create with others. That like it doesn't necessarily mean that every single work I make will be better by other people being in it, but I am a very literal artist with sometimes a very literal style, and that's all fine and good, but sometimes I need the people around me to like rein it back and remind me to trust the audience, to trust my fellow artists, and not spoon feed everything. And then like there's things that they create that I can help with. And the Hummingbirds has really helped my experience as a devising artist to remember to like ask for help from my collaborators and to remind myself that it's them and not just me that makes a piece fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely like working with other people. Like writing with Jeremy is so much easier than writing myself. One, because Jeremy is an experienced songwriter and I am not. But I also love the collaboration piece of that. But two comments left, and then we will actually end the show. First is rude, LOL. So I'm not sure if that's rude because we skipped the question or rude because of the mocking of the question.
No, it was because we skipped it.
Yeah.
And our last comment of the evening: the couch had wheels.
The couch
had wheels.
Wheels.
I have no idea what that means, but I knew
Why
the
could
three
that
of you
couch
would.
just not have been wheeled back to the place where it was supposed to be?
Oh, I do know this
We
story.
got banned from a bar because we didn't drop everything to move a couch back.
Oh, I know.
And
the
the
story.
couch had wheels.
Wait, it was also the fact that we were supposed to move it back within like 4 hours of getting the text saying that we had to move it back.
When all of us work day jobs.
Yeah,
That
she
makes
texted
sense.
us in the middle of our work day. She texted us in the middle of a weekday, like, somebody needs to come right now and move this couch back where it belongs, like 4 feet in the other direction.
Wheels, so she could have just done
And
it.
we were like,
I will say
nobody
though
can stop by right now.
that we have learned that in Philadelphia, you can, a lot of venue owners treat you like that, and they treat you like they're doing you a favor. And something that I definitely feel like working with the Hummingbirds has taught me is to be resilient and to stand up for yourself and to not take that shit. Because with as many times as these venue owners have kind of told us, like, this is your fault, the things have been completely outrageous. And we stood our ground and we've
Venue
said,
owners, as soon as you buy a
Not all of
venue
them,
and start
obviously.
running a venue, you've lost your mind.
Yeah, it's probably the pressures of
Me and
things.
Quentin say this to each other all the time. It's like, there is not a sane person who runs a venue.
Yeah, as much as I want to run a venue, I also understand that.
It is hard work.
We're going to end there because we've gone on well past what I originally had thought. And I'm going to go over to Icon's page to watch Ebony's Confessions next.
My mind.
Yes, for sure. So if you still want to hang out, we're heading over to Ebony's
go to the next room and do that.
Yes, we're going to watch Ebony's Confessions. So go to Icon Ebony Fierce's page. Is there anything y'all would like to plug before we end the show tonight?
Oh gosh. June 20th, myself and Taylor's partner, Quentin are co-producing a Renaissance fair, a digital Renaissance fair called the #Nightlife with a K. Nightlife.
Yes.
Fair. Applications are due tomorrow for performers who would like to apply. We're accepting all types of acts as long as it vaguely seems kind of like the Ren Fair. We're open to all suggestions. But if you'd rather just watch, tune in June 20th. It's going to be an absolute hoot.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
I am constantly doing a bunch of projects, but I am starting a podcast soon called Take a Drag. It's going to be geeking out with local performers about how they became a performer, how they do gigs, different cute stuff like that. And it's going to be really accessible to people who are not nightlife performers, who maybe want to learn a little bit more about what it's like to do what we do. But yeah, also just follow me on Instagram, Patti_LuStoned. I post a lot. I have a bunch of shows. I'm always producing something. So keep in touch with me. Don't send me pictures of your junk.
Me too.
And as always, please don't show me your junk.
Don't do that.
I've been getting weird messages lately, guys.
Oh God.
I've been getting really weird friend requests lately.
Sorry to hear that. I've
been getting random.
I will just plug my quarantine concert series. I will be back tomorrow night after my weekend hiatus with One Hit Wonder Wednesday. And I go on live on Facebook at 8 p.m. every other night to perform music and to sing various songs to whoever would like to watch. We were talking about musical theater a lot tonight, so I will also say that this upcoming Sunday is my Show Tune Sunday performance, which is one of my favorite ones. So, yeah, and if you haven't heard my song already, it's everywhere online right now. So go listen to it on Spotify and on Apple Music and everywhere else that you can listen to music. It's called All Right.
Also, I have a daily live stream on my Facebook in case you didn't pack that. You could just, if you want to see me info dump about things I hyper focus on every day.
I do, and I watch you.
Every day at 4 o'clock. My favorite thing is it's 4 p.m. with CJ Higgins. It's always at 4 p.m. except for when it's not, and it's CJ Higgins. 4 p.m. with CJ Higgins at night.
Nice.
That's going to be less frequent because that was back when I was doing stuff with Going Viral, which is taking a little breather right now. So nights will be happening less frequently, but that was still fun. But it's always 4 p.m. with CJ Higgins, even when it's not 4 p.m.
Even when it's not at 4 p.m. I love that. So next week we will have Khaki Capri on as our guest.
Yay!
And I'm so excited for that show. So tune in next week at 7:30 for this show. Like I mentioned before, proceeds from this show go towards the emergency fund. So please donate if you are able to. And since everyone knows that the worst thing ever is singing happy birthday on Zoom, we're going to sing happy birthday to Jeremy. It's going to sound awful because we're all going to be in a different key and we're all going to go a different speed. Ready? Everyone go. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jeremy. Happy birthday, We will see you next week at 7:30 with Khaki Capri. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and on Facebook to not miss out on our other shows. And we'll see you then. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye.
I love you.
Love you all. Wash your hands.